A good Wednesday, everybody. I'm meteorologist Ben Dery alongside meteorologist Tucker Antico. I believe this is the first time that you and I have done this 15-minute segment.
Yeah.
So we welcome you in, and we welcome you all that's watching us as well for a 15-minute tour of everything weather around Minnesota and Wisconsin. And when we run out of stuff to talk about, we're just going to randomly talk about other things as well.
Perfect.
Sounds good?
That's fun. Yeah. Keep it light.
So your first day was Monday, right, on air. How's it been going so far?
It's been good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad the weather's been pretty nice since coming here. It'd be rough if I had to come in and tell everybody how bad it was going to be. You know?
Of course, right.
But no, it's been great. I already got to a Twins game.
Oh, already?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very, not the one at the Field of Dreams.
No.
Not
man.
that one.
That would have been a dream.
Been awesome to go to for sure. Yeah.
They got a game at this afternoon, 12:40. I'm like mulling it over because it's a nice day today.
It's probably one of the nicest days I think that we've had so far this summer. There's no smoke in the sky.
Yeah.
I mean, temperatures mid to upper 70s, near 80, which is just perfect. No humidity, a good amount of sunshine. Can't ask for anything better.
Yeah,
right?
dew points were in the 40s all morning.
Yeah.
At least north of 94.
So because it's we're kind of on the back nine of summer right now. Did it feel a little crisp this morning when you were out in the backyard?
It definitely did. I was saying, what was my word? I think it was refreshing.
Refreshing.
You know,
sure.
it was cool, but it wasn't the chilly kind of cool. It's
Right.
like I can stand out here and it just feels good kind of weather.
Instead of that, like you walk outside and it just feels soupy. You feel like as soon as you walk outside, you have to take another shower.
Yeah. Well, sometimes too it can be like 58, 59, and the dew point's right there too, and it's kind of like I don't know. The air doesn't feel so light.
Yeah.
Today it was just. It's comfy.
Yeah, comfortable air and a comfortable Wednesday is in the forecast as well. Let's take a live look outside and you will see some actual blue sky, which is nice to see. We have a couple of cirrus clouds and some altocumulus clouds overhead, but overall it is going to be a beautiful Wednesday. Here's what to know, about as nice as the forecast gets with all of what we just said. We do have our next storm chance in the forecast that arrives later Thursday afternoon, but all that clears out for the weekend. And otherwise, it's a pretty quiet forecast, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tomorrow, and then, gosh, I was trying to think of ways to break apart Friday through next Tuesday. And other than it being a little bit cooler on the weekend, it's one of those patterns where there isn't a lot that differentiates these days. There's just not a lot going on. It's more dry weather, more sun. And temps even, they're kind of stuck in that almost perfectly average range. You don't really go more than 2 or 3 degrees above or below.
So do you prefer days or stretches like this where there's not a whole lot to talk about, where you kind of get to be creative in how you describe the weather? Or would you rather have the very active, non-stop days, kind of the opposite end of the spectrum?
I love the active weather.
The active stuff?
I missed that. Coming from Boston, realistically, we get marginal risks out there, those level ones, but you might only get like 4 or 5 real days where there's severe weather, at least potential.
Yeah, like
and
big time severe weather days.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we might get one enhanced a year.
I mean, you guys get like nor'easters and stuff.
Yeah,
and, you get slammed with some major winter storms, but that's like deeper in the future.
Yeah.
You had mentioned the marginal risk. We have a marginal risk for severe weather. This is tomorrow afternoon as a cold front moves to the region.
Yeah, and this one, it's a narrow corridor of energy sort of ahead of that front. You kind of need the peak daytime heating. We were talking earlier, you mentioned there's some moisture return, but it's not too impressive. So as I was going through the forecast this morning, it was sort of a narrow window of time too, where you had that heating and the moisture kind of crossed over. And I believe that's why we have it's kind of a skinny margin,
Yeah, it just depends on where the front is during the warmest part of the day.
Yeah.
So between like 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, wherever that front is, we're probably going to see at least a couple of stronger thunderstorms, maybe borderline severe in some cases.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of case where everyone gets wet. It's the kind of case where if you do see a storm, consider yourself lucky, first off, because we do certainly need the rain, but it's not going to be that gentle rain. It looks like any storm that does develop could be on the heavier side, but a few sporadic strong storms are possible along that frontal boundary. Some locally gusty wind is possible with some of the stronger cells, and maybe some hail as well in some of those overachieving cells.
Yeah, and the large hail threat, even if it's not reaching that 1-inch criteria, it looked like it was conductive for maybe some small stuff mixed in. So
Yeah.
you could hear, it could be a little loud at times, but Nothing too crazy. I mean, that was one of the things I was looking at today too. Is we're, sometimes I feel like you get the marginal risks because it's one or two storms that might form in a pretty potent environment, and sometimes the marginal risks, we may see 4, 5, 6 storms tomorrow, but the ceiling is also pretty low too.
Right.
So what we get isn't going to be crazy, but there's enough there that there will be some strong ones likely mixed in.
And that's pretty much the only real chance for rain we have through the upcoming weekend. Here's a quick look at your 7-day. I mean, lovely today, comfortable, 80 degrees, mostly sunny sky. Doesn't get much better than that. Thursday, we'll start off dry and then a few thunderstorms possible in the afternoon. That window, what would you say is our timing for those thunderstorms if people have outdoor activities planned tomorrow?
I was saying 5 to 9 earlier today. There was some trend and guidance to go a little bit earlier as I was going through the morning, but we'll say, it's really the late afternoon through the early evening.
Yeah.
And they move on, they move out, we dry out after that, clearly.
Look at that. Clearing sky on Friday. Nice weekend in the forecast. This is the last weekend before the fair. Bright sunshine Saturday into Sunday. I did look yesterday. There was a small chance at some overnight showers, maybe late Friday night and then again Sunday night. Is that still a trend that you're seeing?
Yeah, I briefly mentioned it. Friday looks a little drier. Sunday, there's a very, very subtle short wave that comes through, a little burst of energy. Hopefully we get something. I'm not super aggressive on it. That's why I left the spotty shower on Monday. The AI Euro actually today was the one that was most bullish with some rain. So we'll see if it plays out. But even then, it was still suggesting a 1/10 of an inch widespread. Nothing that's really going to put it down to drought.
Nothing drought busting for sure in this forecast, unfortunately. And we're kind of in that severe drought category, including here around the Twin Cities with expanding drought over parts of northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. And we just don't see anything that's really going to crack that. Here's our overall weather pattern. We got a big low that's hanging out over James Bay right now. And you can see that broad circulation. We had that frontal system move through yesterday morning. Early yesterday morning, we had some rumbles of thunder. That slipped down to our south. And we even had a little severe weather in parts of central and southern Wisconsin with that front yesterday.
Yeah.
But things are a lot quieter right now. We can see a couple of rumblers across far southwestern Minnesota, but that's pretty isolated to that part of the state. The rest of us, kind of a mixture of those hazy high clouds and a mostly clear sky, and it looks like a pretty decent day for most of us, with the exception of southwest Minnesota where we're seeing some morning showers.
Yeah, and those thin clouds kind of tell the thunderstorm tops just being blown down winds. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's about as nice as it gets. I would imagine, with the near 80 high, you got those dew points out there that, they spike a little bit when the morning begins. But I believe those are probably the highest numbers we're going to see today, and even that is really not much to talk about.
Yeah,
it's comfy.
I can't remember the last time we had dew points in the 40s here in the metro, which is saying something. Now, these are low temperatures from what we saw this morning. And look at those numbers. I mean, not only 50s in the Twin Cities, we saw 30s in parts of northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. You had mentioned Hayward was the first drop into the 30s this week.
Yeah, Hayward was sitting at 39, and I had said something on air like, this just updated. Look at that. We got a 30-something on here. And then International Falls, it was 41 at the time, and then they jumped down. They were both sitting at 39 at the hourly, so between the hours, got to 38 clearly. But yeah, I mean, it was, you could feel even out on the backyard, it was a different feel than at least personally I can imagine.
Yeah, even your short stint here, you could tell that this is a cool down. So maybe a touch of fall in the air, 57 degrees. For what it's worth, 57 at MSP was the coolest morning since June 25th. So that was nearly 2 months ago. And what's more significant too, this is just the second day since July 1st we've had temperatures cooler than 60 degrees.
That's an awesome stat you grabbed.
It doesn't happen often, right?
Yeah.
So it was a great, night to leave your windows open. And obviously we're getting to the point of the year where we are going to see more of these cooler, more crisp mornings outside. But, we're kind of at that turning point this time of the month and this time of the year where we're going to see more of those crisp mornings, I would imagine.
I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, not bad. Take a look at current wind speed. We've got a surface high pressure system moving right on top of us. You can see that clockwise flow around that high. Winds across northern Minnesota, light from the west. Winds from southern Minnesota are light from the east. So again, that surface high is moving over us. That's what's giving us the very quiet weather today. Once we get into tomorrow, that high pressure system shifts off to the east That introduces more of a southerly flow. We get more of that moisture return, and that'll set the stage for the thunderstorm chances we head into tomorrow. This is microcast. This is going to show us where we do expect to see some of those showers today. Southwest Minnesota, most of those fizzle by midday. Mostly sunny sky through the afternoon, and not too bad, to say the least.
Yeah.
Let's head into tonight. You can see some showers beginning to show up across the international border in the Red River Valley, but we will stay dry to start off the day. By 10 a.m., you can see some of those thunderstorms develop through the Iron Range, and you can kind of make out that front, that northeast to southwest oriented front that's beginning to move through northwest Minnesota. But again, I still think we're going to stay dry through about early afternoon.
Yeah, and those downpours and storms, those are right around the surface low there. So you get a little extra lift. I believe that's why we're looking at some extra precip a bit farther north.
Makes sense.
But, you know, as we get into the afternoon, you know, that's when the front really starts to kick up moisture farther south. That's actually, that just updated. That's the most aggressive look we've seen. Not to say it's really that crazy, but you know, you can tell it's scattered. There's still some gaps between those cells.
It's like a broken line of thunderstorms that, you know, some of those cells could bring us some briefly heavy rain, little lightning and thunder. We mentioned the marginal risk for severe weather as well, and that window from 5 o'clock until 9 o'clock here in the Twin Cities, a little earlier further west. But notice how quickly it blows through here. It's not going to be something that lingers long into the forecast. We'll see a thunderstorm or two, and then it should clear out pretty quickly.
Yeah, one of those where you can be looking east and you'll probably see the lightning low on the horizon, but you got stars overhead.
There you go.
know, it doesn't linger like that.
So there's that marginal risk for severe weather tomorrow. That's that window that we talked about, the peak daytime heating hours, wherever that front moves through. Narrow corridor of seeing some severe weather in a pretty narrow time frame as well. That does include areas about as far north as looks like Moose Lake, Hayward Lakes area down towards Menominee. Twin Cities included in this, and yeah, just depends on where that front is during the warmest part of the day. So there we go. That's your marginal risk. One thing we've also noticed too is the lack of smoke in our sky. We started off the month of August with some super smoky conditions from distant wildfires over the Pacific Northwest. You look at the smoke alarm forecast, it actually looks pretty decent. A little puff of smoke as we head into tomorrow afternoon, pardon the pun. But otherwise, you know, when the sky is clear, we should actually see some blue sky, which is a nice change of pace.
Yeah, and it was the past couple of days, yeah, beautiful, you know, at least being out in the morning, looking up, and you can just see it's crystal clear. And I remember earlier, too, when all the smoke was out here, even though I was still farther east at the time, a lot of that smoke was blowing downwind. And
you guys have it out there as well?
Yeah, I mean, the air quality wasn't quite as bad. You know, I think our numbers, we got to about 160, 170.
Okay.
We were around 300, 400 out here. Like, it was off the charts.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. So this is a shot that, of course, is coming in and out for whatever reason. But let's take a look at today's forecast. Lots of sunshine, beautiful day, 80 degrees for a high temperature. If you're just joining us right now, it's probably one of the nicest days in the 7-day forecast, and honestly, one of the best days of summer, I would argue. Light wind, pretty variable today as that surface high moves on top of us, and low humidity, which is one of the reasons why it was so refreshing early this morning. This is your region-wide forecast for today. You can see most of us are topping near 80 degrees. A little cooler near Lake Superior with a light onshore breeze if you're heading up that direction. And you can see some of the shower chances from Marshall down towards Pipestone, Laverne. Those are basically during the latter half of this morning. We should see things dry out as we head into the afternoon hours as well. Tonight, not as cool. You can see no more 30s up across northern Minnesota. Yep. So it feels a little bit, you know, slightly warmer, but still, you know, it's cooler mornings than what we've been used to. And then once we get into tomorrow, there's that thunderstorm chance. Really our best chance of seeing some showers and thunderstorms is during the tail end of the afternoon into the early evening hours. And it might be a shade on the muggy side, would you say, tomorrow?
Yeah, I was looking at numbers, and it does look like we could wake up actually to dew points in the 50s and then reach the 60s in the afternoon.
That makes sense.
Which gives you, that touch of mugginess. But quickly, as we were looking at, you know, with our microcast there, quickly it dries out again. So it's a brief window, but in the afternoon, yeah, a little touch of that.
Yeah, and you can see to really look at dew points, like the mugginess, you look at the low temperature, the smaller number there, that's our low temperature, and the number won't ever get cooler than the dew point. So if you see that dropping into the 50s, it's going to be a little bit more on the more pleasant side. Again, as Tucker mentioned, we clear out pretty quickly on Friday. That'll lead to a beautiful weather weekend. A couple of spotty showers as we kick off next week, but no drop-busting rains in your 7-day. We'll have more news and, of course, more weather right around the corner.